go live. 6:03.
6:03?
6:03.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
We weren't that
I'm all
late.
right with that. I forgot that we had a new overlay from good old Brian Ward, and I totally forgot to update the stream to use it.
Yeah,
so,
we have this brand new corner over here.
brand new corner that we used to have, and then we covered it up because we were like, we'll use a GoPro, and then the GoPro didn't work. And
Welcome to the show, brand new corner.
yeah, welcome back, corner.
Now people can kind of see what you're doing over there.
I could adjust it a little bit more.
Do you want me to tilt it more towards you?
No, I'll just do something. You stay there.
It does sometimes have trouble focusing on our faces if we're not close enough to the middle of the frame. Oh, you're just moving it like that. Anyways. Hi, friends. Hello. Charpy. Are we live? I hope so. I think we are.
That works. That's as far as it'll go. So.
Oh, yeah, you can kind of see.
Have a little more space.
Yeah.
A little more space for the corner.
What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing? Are we all recovered after last night's stream?
Are we recovered? I slept a good long while today.
I did not.
Honestly, I slept until 10, which was longer than usual.
I kind of tossed into. I was like kind of up at 7:30, and then I was like drifting in and out, and eventually I think I just got up at 8:30 or 9. And I was like, I didn't feel bad or tired, but I just know that I didn't get enough sleep.
Well, we didn't eat dinner until 10 something, and then probably didn't need to have that last cocktail. I'm speaking on my behalf.
It was delicious, though.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
I had to bust out the birthday booze.
Yeah. Nerdy Nightly got me some bourbon, and we needed to celebrate the end of a 4-hour stream.
Hi, buddy. You got that out fast.
And Hilo's here to celebrate.
I gave him a little TREAT in his Kong, and he already got it out. Also, almost certainly UPS is going to come at some point during the stream to bring our Ted Lasso ice cream. Yay! But you'll hear Hilo
lose his
barking.
mind. But let's, real quick, we should talk about Bad Batch real quick, just to kick things off.
That's what we're here to do.
This is still an Ask Us Anything stream. Ask us whatever you want. But since we spend 4 hours talking about The Mandalorian, we wanted to make sure we still devote some time to the Bad Batch, especially when the episodes are as good as they have been.
Yeah.
Two banger episodes in a row.
Absolutely. So good.
So, thoughts on the Outpost? Hilo, do you have anything you'd like to say?
This episode was phenomenal. And I brought this up before, but I feel like I felt bad editing our reaction to this one because it looked boring compared to our Mando reaction. But I think it was just because we were like so just mesmerized by the story and the tone of it, and just like everything about it made me not want to talk over it. So
it reminded me of watching an episode of Andor, of just like, this is intense, especially for an animated show.
This is tense. Yeah. Yeah, and so we finally get to catch up with Crosshair. We know what he's up to, and it's not a lot to begin with. He's just kind of hanging out, waiting to go on his next random mission, chewing away at his old toothpick, and we get quite possibly one of the worst bad guy characters of all time in Star Wars animation.
I think he is maybe my least favorite Imperial officer, which means that
I don't even remember his name. That's how much I hate him.
Nolan.
Yeah, Nolan. I'm sorry if anyone out there is named Nolan, but Nolan sucks.
That reminds me of someone tweeted after this week's episode of The Last of Us. They were like, sometimes having the name David just sucks. Yeah.
Oh, what's up, Jill? Jill says, I thought the Bad Batch episode was better than the Mando episode. Yeah, I saw that from a lot of people.
But, I mean, it's hard to argue with, honestly. Like, the Zillow Beast and the Outpost are two of my favorite Bad Batch episodes. They're just firing on all cylinders. They do have the advantage of being latter half season episodes, whereas Mando is like reintroducing things. That's honestly a tough one for me. I really love the Outpost, really loved Mando.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not going to pit them against each other, Jill, as much as you want me to.
I don't think she's saying
Jill,
she wants you to.
I know what you're trying to make me do. I like them, but I know she's not.
For these two, I mean, again, they're pretty close, but Mando's gonna take the high spot for me, just because Grogu did so many cute things. But real quick, I will read Jill's super chat. The whole episode, I thought those crates were filled with rocks or something else along those lines, but it was so much psychologically worse. OMG.
You thought they were just messing with the clones? I mean, it might as well have been. Like, it's something useless to them. Just armor. It's not even that important, but no, they had to risk their lives to go get it back.
Mm-hmm.
I saw someone asking, I don't know if anyone will ask this tonight, but someone was like, why didn't they just look in the crates if they cared so much? And it was like, because they're soldiers, and good soldiers follow orders. They were told not to look, so they didn't look. And that's where it gets them.
Yeah. I will go ahead and read a couple of super chats that aren't necessarily questions, just comments, and I'll save some of the questions for our discussion before we move on to the rest of the episode. Alexander Kent, thanks so much for the super chat. This episode is a direct reflection of the, quote, General Pong Krell arc.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. It proves and shows the clones' artificial free will surpassing that of the chip.
It also just shows the attitude of the Empire. Like, the entirety of the Empire now has the attitude of Pong Krell, of someone who's just like, you're just clones, you're not people, which is, of course, wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Pong Krell arc, it'd be interesting to watch that now and just be like, yeah, that's what everyone is going to treat the clones like.
And Gary24 fan, I do see your first super chat there. It's a kind of a juicier one, so I'm going to save it for now. Tykel Murner, thank you for the next one. I keep wanting to read that as Michael Turner.
I know. Well, I'm sure that's the point.
I know that's the point.
I hope your name is Tykel.
Tykel Murner. Thank you for the super chat. Definitely thought the Raiders were going to be defector clone troops at first, given Mayday's statement about them wearing pieces of clone armor.
That would have been interesting. And the fact that we don't know anything about them, like, I think that's kind of the point. That are they evil, or are they just trying to survive on a harsh world? Mm-hmm. And the Empire's come in to set up some outpost, and they're like, well, we're gonna go, you're invading our home, so we're gonna steal your gear.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
I think the ambiguous nature of it is on purpose.
Oh, for sure. Brian Ferreira has the next one here. This week's The Bad Batch was really sophisticated television, animated or not. Those who scoff at animated Star Wars are really missing out. Exactly right. And I feel like those who scoff at animated Star Wars just are mad that they don't like it. Like, it's fine that you don't like it. You don't have to scoff at it.
I think a lot of it is ignorance, speaking from my experience of just going like, cartoon, like, I don't know if that's for me, and just being so wrong.
Yeah.
Because that was my attitude for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand that position, but yeah, it makes me bummed for people who just won't get over themselves and give it a chance.
Yeah.
Again, I'm talking about myself, that I had to get over myself.
Don't yuck on other people's yum, you know? But it's fine if it's not for you. But if it's not for you, don't go on and on and on about why that's the case. Lieutenant Nolan had dark helmet energy with that helmet, says Sean Room. What's dark helmet energy?
Spaceballs.
Oh.
The villain from Space. I knew you were going to ask.
I need to rewatch Spaceballs. I'm a bad fan.
I haven't seen Spaceballs in a long time.
Shayla Starkley, thank you for the super chat. How many toothpicks does Crosshair go through in a day?
That would be fun to count them all.
Yeah, because eventually they gotta get all soggy and gross. And you gotta spit them out.
Well, he seems like he tosses them out anytime someone has something to say to him. And
he just, unless he's actively speaking, he's got one in his mouth.
Yeah. Honestly, it probably wouldn't be too hard to go back because he's only in 2 episodes this season so far. I doubt the Empire is going to let him keep toothpicks around in the future episodes. But if we go back to season 1, you could probably easily count all of his toothpick throws. So that'd be a fun thing. Fun little project.
Jill wants to drink wine with me and watch Spaceballs. I'm down. Okay, if you're wondering why I'm going through super chats a lot faster, we
do have a thing to do tonight.
We have to be on another show at 9 o'clock our time, so I'm trying to just keep up with everything so we don't get so behind.
Yeah, we should say we're going to be on Havoc Marauders at 9
our time.
Eastern. 9 Eastern.
Yeah.
In 2 hours and like 45 minutes or however long.
Yeah.
But yeah. You can hang out with us over there too.
Yeah, very true. All right, so where were we? So we meet Nolan. He's a jerk, like right off the bat, just telling Crosshair that he doesn't like.
You called it. I'll go take care of that.
Telling Crosshair that he doesn't like used equipment, like. That just made me cringe. I was like, oh no, like we're just going right into it. They did not waste any time making him an absolute baddie. Yeah, ice cream's here. I think. I didn't get a notification on my phone though, so he might just be barking at nothing. Was that the ice cream?
No, that was nothing.
Where's our ice cream?
Hila was barking at nothing.
Of course. So he goes on this mission. What is it for? He's just, all he knows is he's going to an outpost because there are insurgents, quote unquote, stealing cargo. And he's gonna go check it out.
You just walking through the episode now?
Yeah, because I'm trying to go through everything, and so I don't forget of anything that I want to talk about.
I want to talk about Mayday.
Mayday was great.
New fan favorite that is again immediately taken away from us, but loved him.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this a couple days ago whenever we did the commentary, but any new clone that pops up that has cool hair or cool facial hair is bound to be a cool guy. And he definitely had that vibe of like chain smoking cigarettes, being like, I've been in it too long.
Yeah.
You know, I've lost all my humanity, but he hasn't.
No, I wouldn't say he has it all. He's been through a lot.
He has been through a lot. And I like that he starts off with Crosshair with like a joke of like, did you get lost on your way over here? Meaning like, we've been here forever and you're just now coming to check things out.
How long have you known the lieutenant? About 2 hours? 2 hours too long, I assume.
Mm-hmm. But I like their vibe together, like right at the start, even though you know Crosshair is kind of being standoffish, but when they first introduce each other, he kind of like takes a beat and he's like, am I gonna introduce myself by my name or my number? Like, are we gonna be friends?
Am I gonna introduce myself at all? Like, yeah, do I want a friend?
It's like being in line at the grocery store and someone sparks a conversation and you're like, do I involve myself in this? What's happening? But he does say that he is Crosshair, which was good. And they have a little chat. I don't remember too many details in between that and all the bad stuff that goes down.
No, that's basically it. They chat, they go outside, they lament, or Mayday talks about how they don't have the equipment they need. They get attacked. And then Nolan sends them out to take care of the insurgents and recover the stuff. And then I'd say the next big scene is the landmine.
Oh, yeah. Which was a great, like, very tense scene. And there wasn't a lot of funny moments in this episode, but I liked how Mayday kept things kind of lighthearted under there. Like, I'm going to go over here. I'm not stupid.
Yeah, like, I'm glad you're confident. Oh, I'm confident. I'm just not stupid. But yeah, like Mayday is just the perfect guy to help Crosshair open up just a little bit. He's kind of like, I talk about Last of Us again, but Crosshair is like, my last family left me, so I'm just going to shut myself down. And Cody left me too. So as the solitary clone, he's just going to not make any connections, but he can't help himself with Mayday. And Mayday is Crosshair's Ellie, and
Aww.
Crosshair is Joel.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, so he gets off the landmine, which is great. But great, good for him.
It was great, yeah. Love that for you.
All I could think of after that was like, I would be so paranoid that I would just step on another one, that they would be like everywhere.
The second step he takes is another landmine.
Mayday's like, all right, man,
okay,
you're on
your own. I'm out of little tent stakes or whatever those were.
Yeah. They find the insurgent. Oh, wait, I skipped over the part of Crosshair, like...
Was Phoebe there?
Getting his bell rung.
Oh, right.
Not necessarily. Like when he is blinded temporarily by like a flashbang or something.
By an explosion. He had like his thermal vision on.
Yeah.
And then the ship explodes and it blinds him. I
liked what Force Center said about that part, that we've been seeing Crosshair be so hard all the time, and like this is one of the first moments that we see him really shaken. And
yeah, he's like unflappable. I haven't listened to their Bad Batch episode yet, but
yeah, it's good.
It always is.
Yeah, they had a lot of good stuff to say. But so from then on, I think he's a little shaken, maybe off his game a bit. So they find the insurgents. There's a big shootout. We don't really find out about who they are. They're just kind of like masked people.
Yep.
Which is probably for the best because they killed a lot of them. Anyways, there's the big avalanche, and then Crosshair loses his helmet. They have to go back to camp just by walking. They make it back. Mayday dies. R.I.P. Crosshair...
Hate that for him.
Crosshair confronts Lieutenant Ding Dong and shoots him. Yay. And then he ends up on Mount Tantus. No. All right. I don't know why I wanted to go through a recap. We never really do that, but it just started coming out of my mouth, so I went with it.
I was like, what are you doing? It's okay. You can do whatever you want.
Let me read a couple more super chats now that I've done that for whatever reason. Gary24 fan had the very first super chat of the night, so thank you so much. Knowing everything points to a finale on Mount Tantus, do you think we see a big cliffhanger like Omega getting captured and stuck there?
I hope not. I don't think that feels like Star Wars Animation's style to end a season with a big cliffhanger. Like, it's not like they did leave a lot of stuff open-ended with Twilight of the Apprentice, especially with Ahsoka, but I can see them ending things where everyone's together, but assuming there will be a season 3, there are some implications for what's to come, kind of like Ezra getting the holocron and opening it at the very end of season 2. I don't think they're gonna have a cliffhanger where it's like, and Omega is trapped there. At least I hope not.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I do think because we got that bit about wanting to capture Omega, and like, we don't know if Nala Se has a way to track her down, if she still has that little headpiece, and that if that is somehow a tracker.
I think so. And Nala Se, I don't think is part of the tracking.
Yeah.
I don't think she wants Omega to be captured still.
It seems like the further we get in the show, the more the Bad Batch are realizing that they need to be in the big fight. So I think it'll be more like if Omega got captured, she would just have been in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I also I don't want her to get captured at all this season, just because I don't want it to turn into like 24, where Jack Bauer's daughter got captured every season. And it's like, okay, someone put a bell on this girl so she doesn't get lost again. And Omega seems like she has grown up quite a bit in season 2. So I hope she is not captured and helpless. Like, I kind of hope that's Crosshair's story role, is that they wind up saving him.
Yeah. I like what Andy said in the chat. Crispin Freeman performance for Nolan was so damn intense, gave me flashbacks to his Kiri Kodomine? I don't know who that is. Is that what that says?
I can't read it from here, but that does not sound familiar to me.
Kiri Kodomine? I think I said that right.
Is that a Star War?
You'll have to let me know in the chat what that is.
But yeah, he was great. Very, very hateable, which means he did a good job.
Yeah. Power Rangers Explained. Thanks so much for the super chat. Hey, party people. Go Illinois fighting... Illini? B10? What? If this is sports
I know Big Ten.
If this is sports lingo, I don't know what it means. What's that word?
I don't know. I know B10. I know that logo from basketball, right?
Big Ten?
Big Ten. It's like 10 schools. They're part of the Big Ten.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, the Big Ten.
Go sports.
Go Big Ten.
Oh, in the Fate series. No. College Basketball Explained. Oh no.
Nope, not us. Clearly.
Sorry, I butchered that one. I don't have any room in my head for sports knowledge. Red Vega has one about Mando, so I'll save that one for the moment. Jared, thank you for the super chat. Emotional thinking Crosshair robbed himself of redemption with stubbornness and now is confined to a life of torment as a dark trooper / assassin / science experiment. Yeah.
That's what I think, too. I think they'll probably do to him what they did to that other clone that was in episode 7.
Oh, yeah, where they were like, his chip was wiped or something.
His identification.
Yeah, his ID numbers were wiped. And they were like, that's weird. Tech was like, I've never seen that before.
Tech was like, I didn't know we could do that.
Garth McMurray, thanks for the super chat. It should have ended on Crosshair blacking out.
I'm so glad it didn't.
Yeah, we were...
I was like, what?
that pause was a little too long. We were just like, come on, there's got to be a little bit more.
I was very worried that it would end that way, which would have been fine. I guess they'd reveal that he's been captured down the line somewhere else, but I was just like, don't tell me Mayday and Crosshair died.
Right. Oh, they wouldn't have killed Crosshair like that. That would have been way too sad.
That's like, I was worried.
King Snake 41st, thank you so much for your super chat. Darn, I had a cousin named Nolan. That lieutenant stunk. Well, I'm sure your cousin is wonderful, and you are correct. That lieutenant stunk.
Who's the worst Molly in fiction that you've ever come across? I'm trying to think of the worst Alex.
I don't know. There's a lot of dogs named Molly, which is great. I love dogs. There's a drug named Molly that's probably not good for you. I don't know. If you have any guesses in the chat, let me know.
I'm trying to think of it. The first Alex I thought of was from A Clockwork Orange. That guy's pretty bad.
Molly Ringwald is a treasure.
Yeah, she's wonderful. And also not fictional. Found another piece Hilo chewed up.
I heard him chewing on that when we were recording, and I kind of like started kicking him under the table. Jamal Taylor, thank you so much for the next super chat. They all say the animated series isn't for them until they watch it. More like they're afraid they will like it. Been lurking since the Star Wars Minute days. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's just coming from a place of ignorance. Like, cartoons, I don't think that's for me anymore. And then, yeah, once they try it, they're like, oh man, I was wrong. And it's true of so many other animated shows, not just Star Wars, but just animation in general. Sometimes has that, like, oh, it's all for kids stigma, which is false.
Yeah. I mean, even for me, like, I get kind of, not bored, but it doesn't hold my attention as much as, like, a show like Last of Us or Andor does. But this episode was, like, so dark and kind of, I don't know how else to to describe it except for dark.
Mature?
But, yeah. Dark. Anytime there's, like, a lot of dark violence in Star Wars animation, like, that stuff really grips me. Which I don't know what that says about me, but some of the stuff in Clone Wars that it's just, like, a big fight scene that kind of feels like it goes on and on forever, I kind of will find myself not paying attention sometimes when that stuff happens. But I try to look at animated shows like overall, what did the story teach me? What was it trying to say? Oh no. Red Vega, thank you for the next super chat. Also, I want Din to pop Nolan's kneecap off.
Oh, God.
That's
Now we're making connections to other universes.
so many different connections. Yeah. If you want to hear us talk Last of Us, check out the other channel that I'm a co-host on, Certain Point of View. We talk about it live every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And we'll be, I guess there's only one left. But you can go back and catch up.
Tuesday will be our last one. Also, today I wrote, based off of the video game and the series so far, but I'm assuming the last episode will be pretty true, but I'm going to do a Why The Last of Us is a Great Star Wars Story video, kind of like I did for RRR and Top Gun. But mostly I was like, I just want to talk about The Last of Us, so I'm going to.
Sometimes we just got to talk about what we want to talk about.
It's still very much through a Star Wars lens, so
yeah.
It works.
Jamie Dorr has the next super chat here. Thank you, Jamie. 2 questions. Do you think there's a possibility of a clone trooper rebel alliance on the horizon? And do you have a bricks and minifigs Lego store in your local area?
We just have a Lego store, but nothing specifically for bricks and minifigs, I don't think.
They sell bricks and they sell minifigs.
It sounds like they're talking about like an unofficial store, maybe.
Oh, I didn't know those were allowed.
If you just have a bunch of bricks and want to sell them, I guess that's all right. I know, like, people sell custom minifigs online.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Not that I know of.
Ooh, Maddie Gunner said, wait till you guys see the Lego store here in London.
What was the other part of that question?
Oh, the first part was, do you think there's a possibility of a clone trooper rebel alliance? I mean, that's kind of what we get in Rebels. It's very small.
It's just Rex, really. And then Gregor and Wolf decide they'll show up at the end. Yeah, I kind of do. Like, I kind of think that we're still building to an uprising of some kind that will not end well. Like,
Yeah.
the Bad Batch seems like it could just be a farewell to the story of the clone troopers.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be really hard to show, like, I mean, they may not even bother showing what exactly happened to all the clones, but we know there aren't a lot around, period, in just a couple more years, so it probably doesn't look good for any of them.
I'm worried.
Okay, Mandalorian question. I'll hold off on those for now. Trying to pick out some Bad Batch questions. Scotty Heron, thanks for the super chat. Said it earlier in the chat. Would have loved to see Crosshair get some of the thermal wrappings Mayday had before they left to recover the cargo.
I really liked Mayday's armor.
I didn't see those as thermal wrappings. I saw them as just his armor was so old and probably broken that he was trying to, like, just hold it all together.
I mean, I just saw them as, I guess, thermal wrappings is the best way to put it. I was like, they're not bandages. It wasn't because he was hurt, but yeah, just he was trying to hold it all together. I agree with that, and also stay warm. Mm-hmm. I do think he was trying to stay warm too. But him talking about how, like, they won't give us new equipment, won't give us new armor.
I said he looked like he was trying to cosplay as a mummy.
Well, it worked for him. He made it look good.
He did make it look good.
And then they, just like Hauser, just gone too soon. Not that there's still hope for Hauser. They didn't show him die on screen. That's tragically, but
true. But where could he be?
Hauser, Wilco. There wasn't anything super special, like, visibly about Wilco, but people were still like, "Oh, he's kind of an interesting character. Oh, he's dead. Okay." Like.
Let's see. Joel Ramirez, thank you for the next super chat. A generous super chat. Thank you, Joel. Good evening, everyone. Oh, so formal. This episode is amazing. Can't believe the journey Crosshair's been on. So broken. My heart aches for him, and I feel he'll go out heroically in a sacrifice against the Empire in protecting his family. We talked about that, like, at the end of the first season. I feel like is he gonna go out in a blaze of glory to somehow protect the Bad Batch, the rest of the Bad Batch?
I mean, I keep beating my drum of, like, someone get redeemed and stay that way and, like, stay alive. I want him to reunite with the rest of the group. That's my hope.
Yeah. We haven't seen such a tragic story like this in a while for Star Wars, I feel like, especially not in this era. But yeah, I hope he doesn't just go out, like, protecting one person.
I want him to find some resolution with the other members of the batch.
Yeah.
I want them to know that he has turned against the Empire, or something along those lines. Like, I just want everyone to be together and happy again.
Yeah. Just want everyone to be happy.
Why can't everything be chill?
Stuart J, thank you for the next super chat. Since Crosshair wants to stay a soldier, do you think he would find new purpose with Rex's crew, recovering other clones and possibly leading to a clone revolution? Now, here we go.
Yeah.
Here's an option that I would love to see Star Wars do, where we see a redemption arc, and then we see what he does going forward.
Yeah. Like, I think that's great. I think that Crosshair's problem is a lack of creativity in some ways. He just wants to be a soldier, but doesn't understand that his skills can be applicable elsewhere. Like, And I get it because his skills are so ingrained in like, what's your job? I'm the one that shoots real good. Like, that's his thing.
And he lost his helmet with his sights and everything in it, so maybe he doesn't shoot so good now.
I think he can shoot well without the helmet.
He probably can. I'm not giving Crosshair enough credit.
But I think he just needs to learn that there are other options for him.
Sure.
And he only sees the one. And maybe if the rest of the batch had like kidnapped him from Camino, not that they didn't have that much choice, but I think he could have figured out a place for himself. And part of his problem is that he feels abandoned by his brothers.
Yeah. I did see this one when it first came in, so I'm going to go ahead and read it from Cassia Pidgeot. Thank you for the super chat. Poor Crosshair couldn't eat again. Let him eat. Was he trying to eat?
I'm trying to remember. I mean,
I think he...
I can't recall.
He must have been.
We just watched it too.
I think Force Center might have brought that up too.
He's so hungry.
He's a hungry boy. He's a growing boy. Oh, Francisco Gios, thank you for a very generous super chat. Ever since Crosshairs joined the Empire, my thoughts would always say he can probably be the first Death Trooper. Yeah, we talked about that a couple times. Now that he's the enemy of the Empire and being studied on Mount Tantus, do you think his DNA can somehow start the Death Trooper program?
I do think that there's still a threat of him being the first Death Trooper. Like, I've been referring to that clone assassin that we saw in episode 7 as the first, like, a Phase Zero Dark Trooper, which is something that they talked about in The Mandalorian, and, you know, there's all kinds of red string connections we could make, but it might be a Death Trooper program instead. And honestly, the Phase Zero Dark Trooper and the Death Trooper are similar, because it's just enhancing soldiers cybernetically, and why not? I could see the Death Trooper kind of evolving into the Dark Trooper. And
two, just because we got that line in Mando about, like, we took out the human element, so because they said that out loud in a live action show, that might give them a window of, like, okay, let's show in animated what that human element looked like.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. I did always think Death Trooper, though, because he was, like, he's so tall and thin, and, like, that just looks like what the Death Troopers looked like, so that just made sense to me.
Also, his armor is, like, gray, but it still has the green visor. His armor does seem Death Trooper-esque.
Yeah.
But I can see Filoni, even if his responsibilities, or if he's mostly focused on The Mandalorian and Ahsoka, I think he absolutely still knows what's going on in animation. He obviously values it. So I could see him being like, oh, the Bad Batch is doing this thing, and we can now we should bring in the Dark Troopers, and we can connect those worlds and throw Fennec Shand in there. And
Ryan, I didn't skip your chat. I have it here ready to go. I've just been kind of, like, popping around to different super chats. If you've just joined us, because right now we've got 370 people watching. Hi.
Hello.
Give the video a like, because I always forget to say that. If you're just tuning in, I'm trying to go a little bit faster than usual because we've got another show to be on at 9 o'clock Eastern.
What time is it, by the way?
6:42.
Oh, okay, we're fine. So it'll be like the same length as a normal stream, because I'm probably gonna build 2 bags, and the first bag took me 45 minutes. Second bag will take me probably 45 minutes, and then we'll go eat. So. Yeah.
We're getting a steady stream of really good questions.
Okay.
So I'm trying to
I know you're driving this ship. I'm just over here building this ship.
Good one.
That just came to me. I'm pretty proud of it.
Good one. So, with that said, I don't want to go too long without covering some of these earlier super chats. So let's go to Red Vega's first super chat. Not gonna lie, I wasn't a big fan of Grogu doing backflips, yet he was struggling to even walk. It was too off-putting. Also, Nolan is such a baddie. Yeah.
Such a baddie. I thought he was going to say something harsher. You're such a baddie.
I wouldn't say anything that Grogu does is off-putting, but I respect your opinion.
Curious to hear your response to that.
I wouldn't say he's struggling to walk. He's wearing a sack. So I think maybe that inhibits him a little bit. But I saw this. Remember I told you that I saw a few people complaining about Grogu doing all the flips and stuff, but other people were defending it because it's like that's how Yoda got around and fought in episode 2. So I kind of see both sides of it, but I think it's adorable.
It neither bugged me at all. Like, one of my favorite reactions from that episode was when Molly started to squeal just because she saw Grogu again, and I was like...
He popped his head up in a cute way.
Yeah, I was like, he's just sitting there. And then, as I was in the middle of saying that, he flipped out, and both of us went, wow!
Wow!
Like, look at him go. As for the walking, like, I do think it kind of looks like he's struggling, but he's got tiny little legs. And I also think it's them committing to the puppet.
Which I 100% agree that they should do. I don't want random fully CGI cuts of Grogu.
Which has happened. They have done that a couple times. But I'm glad that they don't rely on that.
They said they meant Bo-Katan as a baddie, not Nolan.
Oh.
I saw N-O, and that was it. So I assumed they wanted to type Nolan and just shortened it.
Oh,
but,
okay.
Okay. Bo-Katan is a baddie. And then had a bunch of emojis, but I don't some fire emojis and some
I was wondering
anguished
if
face
they actually
emojis.
meant Bo-Katan as a babe. But
I mean, she's both.
Yes. She's a baddie babe. Babe baddie? Babby.
She's bae. I know that word isn't relevant anymore, but whatever.
She's Pog. She's Pog champ.
Poggers.
What were we talking about?
But
The puppet.
the puppet.
Yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, like, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to learn that shot was CG, but they just made it look like a puppet. Kind of the way that IG-11 was CG, but moved like stop motion. Mm-hmm. And so the Bomar Monk in Book of Boba Fett, same kind of deal. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Joel Davis, thank you for the super chat. I'm okay with Din. Wait, I'm okay with Din does not become. I'm okay if Din does not become the new Mandalore at the end of the series and realizes he can just be happy with Grogu and go off his merry way. Yeah, I mean, I think what we're heading towards is the idea of having one leader of all of Mandalore, where they're literally called Mandalore, and they do it by winning the Darksaber through combat. I think that's just not a tradition that they're gonna try to keep. That may change now that a mythosaur is part of the equation, but you were a big fan of the idea of Din becoming Mandalore.
Yeah. Like, I still think that right now, just based off of everything we've seen so far, I think his journey will be episode 2. He's just like a bounty hunter that's got his butt kicked by Jawas, and he's covered in mud, and he's just lying there. He's a bounty hunter, like a profession that people don't look on favorably. For him to, and he's a foundling, so some people wouldn't consider a foundling a full-fledged Mandalorian, like Almec in the Clone Wars claimed Jango Fett wasn't a Mandalorian. He was a foundling.
Yeah.
So he starts very low status, can become very high status.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also all for him being like, I'm Mandalore, and my first act is to remove that title, and like we share this power, we share these symbols. Not all these traditions need to continue.
Basically, follow the footsteps of Mean Girls, where in the end,
thesis, please.
Where in the end they break the crown.
Right. Okay.
In different pieces. Yeah. They're gonna break the Darksaber up and make a bunch of dark daggers.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I like the idea of Din stupidly thinking that would work, though. Like breaking the Darksaber apart and be like, and do you have a piece? And do you have a piece? And everyone's like, this is worthless now.
Oh, you know what? I've been meaning to get our Darksaber out. Is it charged?
Probably not.
Where's the blade for it? Oh yeah, I don't think it has any juice.
No, and I don't know where the blade is.
Well,
I think it's in my closet somewhere. I'd have to dig it out.
I'm Mandalore now. No, I have the Darksaber.
I'm Mandalore.
No. That's how it happens. It'll be just like the Last Jedi, and then it breaks,
both helmets. We should just
breaks in half.
We should do a stream where you're Bo-Katan and I'm Din. One of these days.
That's fan fiction. Where were we? Mean Girls. Yeah, Din. I will say the only way I want them to stick with the idea of one true ruler being Mandalore is, yeah, what you said. If it is Din, and he's like, my first law is there are no laws. No,
free for all, go stab.
Yeah, we're gonna change up the tradition a little bit and make it not so stodgy.
I am honestly just about okay with anything they do. I'm enjoying the ride. If I'm wrong completely about what they're trying to say, which I feel like they're being pretty explicit in their talk with the Children of the Watch and all these rules and stuff, so I think I'm on the right track, but if it turns out I'm not, like, I'm still just having fun watching it. So if he is Mandalore at the end, okay, I'm on board. I'll enjoy it.
This is not the last season, so
no.
I trust that it'll go in the right direction eventually.
John Favreau said he's written season 4 and is hoping to do a season 5, which I can't imagine why that wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It's like Disney Plus's flagship series.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Shayla Starkley, thank you for the next super chat. Thought Omega is named for that reason. Last hope for the Kaminoans. Last bit of DNA for the ultimate clones. Key to unlimited toothpicks for Crosshair.
I mean, I do think that is why she has that name. Boba was Alpha, she was Omega, and they, in season 1 at least, the Kaminoans were like, we need to get her back, so that we can stay relevant for the Empire. And then that fell apart, and so I think until now, no one's cared to look for Omega. But since Hemlock needs to manipulate Nala Se, that's why the search has begun again.
Yeah.
So I think that's interesting. I think she was the last hope for Kaminoans. Now, not so much.
Sorry. I mean, the Kaminoans are in trouble any which way you want to look at it. There's only 2 of them that we know of left. I'm sure there's some elsewhere, but
I think someone in our Patreon Q&A thread, I was going through that this week, or today, and someone said in season 1 they talked about they were rounding up key Kaminoans to take off planet, and then Hemlock today, or in the latest episode, was like, no, in the Zilla Beast episode, was like, are there any other Kaminoans that were taken off planet? And Emery said only their prime minister. But I wouldn't be surprised if he meant, are there any other Kaminoans that I don't know about? And then Lama Su is the one that's locked up. But I could see more Kaminoans being around on Mount Tantus, and Nala Se is the only one refusing to work. So he's like, I need Nala Se.
Yeah.
Also, Halliburton is
right.
around. Of all the ones to survive.
I love her. She's kind of like old and crotchety.
She's terrible. I think her whole planet was destroyed, and she's just kind of like, meh. She was not cool in the Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because who she was named after. Gotcha.
That too.
I'll give you that to read, or you can read it. I didn't know if you had your phone. But Calm Like a Bomb, aka 12th Dragon. Can we talk about how the character at the end of the episode sounded like Omega? I think it was the same voice actor. It's our Q&A question of the week.
Is it this? I don't think it's the same voice actor.
I don't know. It was New Zealand, but I don't know. I'll look it up.
I mean, she definitely sounds like she has a New Zealand accent, which I am curious of, like, why?
Yeah, why? We do talk about this in the Q&A on Saturday, but, like, sure, there's a chance that they made more clones of Omega right on Mount Tantus to specifically do their bidding for experiments and stuff, but I don't think that's the case.
Tantus is so connected with cloning that I'm like, it wouldn't surprise me if she were a clone, but I don't know. It seems like if you're going to cast...
Oh, this has a 9.2 on IMDb.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone loves it. If you're going to cast an actor that kind of sounds like Omega, I think they know people are going to ask those questions. So I am like, what's your plan here, Bad Batch writing team?
Keisha Castle Hughes did the voice for Emery.
Mm-hmm.
Is that how you say it? And that's not the same person that does Omega, is it?
No, Michelle Ang.
Michelle Ang. Okay, that's right. So, different voice actors.
But that's just because they're trying to throw us off the scent.
Could be.
I don't know. It's like, I don't want to get too tinfoil hat there, but who knows?
Yeah.
They could drop some crazy bombs.
That definitely feels like something that they threw in that they're like, this will get them talking.
Yeah, it's probably a red herring.
And look what we're doing.
Yep. They're making us, it's misdirection. They're making us look over here while they're doing something out in the open and we haven't spotted it yet.
So sneaky. Just like Grogu was in the last episode. Let me go back up here. Brian Ferreira, thank you for the super chat. Wondering if you got the quote-unquote light reading I sent you a few weeks ago. Hoping you might find the time somehow to give it a look-see if you haven't already. And that you enjoy it. Thanks for your time.
I picked it up at the P.O. Box, I think last week. Brian has written Star Wars The Hamilton Saga, a galactic musical. It is 400 pages? I think I looked and was like, my goodness.
She thick.
250 pages, excuse me. But still, I was like, wow, this is huge. And it covers the entire Skywalker saga. There are definitely some songs I want to try to check out, like some of my favorites from Hamilton. Mm-hmm. I hope that You'll Be Back is just titled I'll Be Back.
Oh, like Palpatine?
Yeah, Palpatine. As he dies, I'll be back.
Yeah.
Soon you'll see.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it is not light reading, and I don't know anything about musical theater. I saw Hamilton once, but I would love to check out some of the more familiar songs to me in there. But I don't know, who do we know that is into musical theater that we could send Brian their information too, because I feel like we're not going to do it justice.
Travis.
Travis is a good one.
Yeah. Our friend Travis wrote the musical Wicket that we've talked about many times before. And there definitely was some Hamilton inspiration in that as well.
Yeah. So...
Yeah, it's a big old binder.
Yeah.
I'll try to find some time, I promise.
Yeah.
But it's big.
She thick. Okay, I read that one. Let's see. Joel Ramirez, thanks for the super chat. The clones have always been a huge part of Star Wars for me. I love how in-depth this show's been in regard to the story of the clones. I enjoyed season 1, but this season is poetic. I agree. Like, this is just really good storytelling, let alone Star Wars, also let alone animated Star Wars.
Yeah. And the Outpost, the Zilla Beast episode, the first episode with Crosshair and Cody, those have all been just some of my favorite animated episodes. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad that they're taking the time. I like many other people, my reaction to the announcement of the Bad Batch was like, really? We're going to do a series about them? Okay. But the fact that it is so much about the clones in general and what happens to them is so great, because it is a great story, a perfect follow-up to the Clone Wars, if not completely tragic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're getting some just really, really deep storytelling that, like you said, never expected to get for an elite group of clone troopers that each basically the A-team of clone troopers.
That's like exactly what they are.
Who knew? Kyle Sipes, thanks for the next one. Animation is always great, but some of the shots of the blood-splattered snow looked live action. Incredible.
I said the exact same thing. We were recording our commentary
2 days ago?
Something like that.
What is time?
Whenever we were recording our commentary for that, I said the same thing. I was like, that just looks real. It looks like it would be in a live action show. Or if it were, I would not have been able to tell otherwise.
Mm. They did look very realistic. They looked more like really good-looking video game cutscenes than live action, but close enough.
You're not doing it justice.
Oh.
You're not giving it.
I don't have the kind of class and the taste that it needs to really pick out those details. I get it. Also, I saw some people in the chat talking about blood in Star Wars. We don't see that very often.
That is true.
And the only reason we see it in Ponda Baba's arm is because his species has a special thing in his blood where his blood can't cauterize by lightsabers.
Mm-hmm. I think it just has a higher boiling point or something. That's my favorite stupid, useless Star Wars fact. Is that
it's so good.
Oh man, someone asked us that like a month or two ago now of like, what's the most useless Star Wars fact you know? It's probably that Aqualish blood has a higher burning point than any other blood, because it was just blood on A New Hope and they didn't realize they hadn't decided lightsabers cauterized wounds yet.
That is one of my favorite tidbits of trivia knowledge, just because it was from the very first movie and it is something kind of silly to think about and complain about, but the fact that someone, maybe Pablo did it, who knows who the person actually was to make this decision canon, but they were like, you know what, we can do this one, we can make a reason for this, and they did. And like,
I don't even know,
we're so spoiled.
I don't know if there's a source for it, if that actually was written in a reference book, or if just someone on Wikipedia wrote that down. Because
Wikipedia
it makes sense.
Created it then.
I don't know. But it makes sense that obviously it doesn't cauterize, so I guess that their blood has a higher boiling point. There we go.
Yeah.
Burn point. I keep saying boiling point.
I don't know about boiling blood.
I don't think you should boil blood.
No.
No one try that.
Star Orange 36 says, now I'm worried Cody is on Mount Tantus. Yeah, where did he go? He
I would like
left though.
I would like to see him again, and I still do not think that Rampart was lying to Crosshair. I think Rampart was like, Cody went AWOL. Don't know where he is. I don't know why he would lie to Crosshair about that.
Agreed.
But that will suck if that's what happened to him.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded like he wasn't taken. He just left on his own accord. So hopefully he wasn't captured.
Maybe I'm just in
after the
denial. I don't know. Like, let us have a clone. Give us one cool clone that gets to survive and come out of this okay.
You know what? All the talk about Crosshair having this heroic moment where he goes out in a blaze of glory to save everybody. Give that moment to Cody. If they're gonna kill him,
Making me Tina groan.
if they're gonna kill him, give him a cool moment like that to do it.
They certainly wouldn't do it off screen, but I guess that's why we're bringing up the possibility that he might be on Mount Tantus.
Chair's gonna break. Ice, thank you for the next super chat. Great episode. I loved everything with Mayday and his squad. I love that they were guarding stormtrooper gear. It's a real twist to the knife to the twist of the knife to the clones. It pains me just thinking about it. Yeah.
Same.
When we get, especially when Mayday has that amazing line where he says, good soldiers follow.
We were good soldiers. We followed orders.
Yeah.
And for what?
And for what?
Ugh.
That's like that's what everybody was thinking at the time, and he said it, and we were like, hell yeah, man.
Poor Mayday.
Rough stuff. I thought it was going to be like Kyber or parts, more pieces and parts for the Death Star or something, but yeah, just more armor for their own replacements.
It's not even important.
That's just like he said, twisting the knife. That's like taking a cigarette and just like burning it in their faces.
Why?
I'm just trying to
You're
portray
being
how painful it is.
Graphic.
You talked about boiling blood.
On accident.
On accident. Brad Linder, thank you for the next one. When Crosshair got blinded but took the shot anyway, I was super worried that he accidentally shot a clone.
Oh, God.
Nolan would have had a field day with that. He seems like the type to have a field day with a lot of things.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like the kind of person to hold back. If he wants to have a field day, he's going to have a field day.
And it's not going to be fun for anyone but him.
I want to see I want to see Tarkin react to Nolan's death. Just be like, good.
He was a liability.
I never liked him anyway.
Did you see him trip when he came off that ship? The man can't walk.
Which is the point. Like, I talked about that in my review. It's like, does Nolan think he's going to be missed by anyone? No, he will not be.
Yeah.
He thinks he's superior to clones. You are not. You are also expendable.
Ryan, thanks for the next super chat. Mayday is version 1.0 of the Snowtrooper fit.
Yeah,
Sure.
maybe. I mean, just I'm cold. Gotta wrap up.
I think just enough people started dying in cold conditions where they're like, oh, well, I guess we should change the armor up a little bit.
Oh, we saw on Pluto Ortonia that back in season 1 that all the clones had specialized cold weather gear, which does make it even worse that they did not have that on the Outpost. Because it exists.
Yeah. It exists. Darth Nicholas, thank you for the next super chat. My goodness, what an episode. Quite possibly the best Bad Batch episode. If Jennifer Corbett doesn't win an Emmy for this episode, I'm seriously gonna revolt. If I'm forgetting any other writers on this episode, please forgive me. I don't know if Bad Batch is gonna win any Emmys. Not saying it shouldn't.
Clone
But
Wars won Emmys, or at least one.
I would love to see it, but there's a lot of good TV out there right now. It's got a lot of competition.
Does animation have? I don't know the Emmys very well, but I would assume animation has a category.
Maybe.
I know they won. David Tennant won for his best guest appearance in the Clone Wars. So I know there's that, but I do not know.
Maybe someone in chat might know.
I stopped caring about awards a while ago.
Yes, there is an animated category in the Emmys.
Okay, good.
That makes the chances a little higher.
I stopped caring about awards. I haven't really kept up with the Oscars for the past few years, but now that RRR is going to perform Natu live there, I'm watching.
Yeah, we're going to watch the Last of Us finale for sure, but I feel like we might also tune in a little bit to the
I definitely will.
Oscars. Garth McMurray.
I'm done with bag 2, so
okay.
we can be done with that and just chat now.
Okay.
What time is it?
It's 7:09. And y'all would be proud of me. I was smart today and I took the time to go ahead and cook our dinner so that if we had any spare time between this and our next show, we could just scarf some food down. But either way, it's cooked. It's ready to be eaten.
Bag 24 looks pretty involved, so I'll... What do you think?
We never did find those Spice Girls Legos, did we?
No, I'm pretty sure I put them back in your office, and I don't know where they are now.
Where would they be in my office?
I don't know.
Though? Do we have like a little set I can build? I haven't built Lego in a while.
I don't know. Do you want to build Bag 24?
No.
Okay.
That looks too involved.
Okay. I don't have anything lying around.
Here,
But you can look around.
Seats and I'll find something to
You
build.
find something to do. You entertain yourself.
My voice is gonna get hoarse after too much longer.
Andrew711, thank you for the next super chat. Why was the Empire keeping the new Stormtrooper armor that they value so much, annoyed, blah, in a place where they would get stolen relatively easily? Because the Empire doesn't think about any of that stuff. Like, I think they just set up an outpost. Who knows why they chose that planet in the first place? They set up an outpost, and that was that. They they just moved on. Oh, and I skipped one. Sorry about that, Garth. But I think they probably chose the planet for, what's the word I'm looking for? Delivery reasons? Not delivery. Distribution. They kind of talked about that in Andor as well, that Aldhani was chosen because it was close enough to a lot of important planets, but not too close to be annoying. That's probably why they chose the outpost here. And they didn't know who lived there. They didn't care about it.
Does this have instructions?
I have no idea. They probably didn't even know that raiders existed on that planet until they set up shop, and then they were like, okay, now we have to protect this thing, but they're too proud to move it.
Everything else in there is way too big for me to get into.
Okay.
But I
Yeah,
did find
break that up. I forgot about that.
I found Lego House, Home of the Brick. And it is a tribute to Lego House, whatever that is.
I think it was the toys that they used to make, like the little duck.
Yeah.
Is an old Lego toy before they built the bricks.
I like the dinosaurs, though. So, like, I guess there's a couple little sets in here.
I think so. Or it might just be a bunch of bricks and you go ham.
I could pretend to be a master builder.
You can build whatever you want.
I think this came free with something big that we bought.
I think it might have come with this.
Oh, okay.
So
well.
that's fitting. Garth McMurray, thank you for the next super chat. Sad irony of Mayday holding his armor together with bandages while he's guarding crates filled with better armor. Could he have lived in new armor? I don't think so.
I think he would have scoffed at the TK armor and been like, what is this crap?
I don't think TK armor or Stormtrooper armor is any better than Clone Trooper armor. If anything, I bet it's worse. Because the Empire doesn't care about their soldiers. We've seen in the original Star Wars trilogy that... We've seen in the original trilogy that Stormtrooper armor doesn't do anything. It's just there to look intimidating. Clone Trooper armor, I bet, served a little more purpose.
Yeah. I can't remember when I brought this up, but I love the idea that by the time of A New Hope, the Stormtrooper armor is like plastoid, but barely plast. It's like the cheapest version of plastoid they could possibly create, and that's why it doesn't do anything against blasters.
Yeah. The Empire doesn't care about its soldiers. It cares about making its soldiers look scary. The armor is just for intimidation and nothing else.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't think the TK armor would have offered better protection against the avalanche.
All right. Bag number 4 is the duck. I'm going to build the duck.
I like that. Oh, that's cool. I had to look up. Darth Nicholas is always throwing in obscure character names that I'm like, you have stumped me. Never ask me trivia. You will shame me. Darth Nicholas, thank you for the next super chat, says, is it just me or did Commander Mayday's weathered armor give off some Commander Faye vibes? Commander Faye was the nickname of a human clone trooper who served in the Republic with Gwendolyn Voss. I do not know this character, but he looks cool.
Is it Legends?
Nope. Canon 2. Concept art for Revenge of the Sith. Interesting. He was more prominent in Legends for sure, but looks like he was... He's been mentioned in a couple of reference books, it looks like, but has not been visibly seen. But he does look cool. He looks like he's basically wearing a Jedi robe.
Oh, yeah, that does look cool.
I like that.
Kind of the same vibe. Needs more bandages.
Nicholas is always teaching me new things. Last night, I think it was you, Nicholas, that taught me about the orgy that Jabba survived.
Oh, God. I forgot. I need to clip that out and put it over on our other channel. Which, if you didn't know, we do have another YouTube channel that we don't use very often called Malix. But I have started to make clip outs of our long live streams and put them on the channel over there.
Just little short highlights from our
anytime I make a
4-hour live streams.
Crude joke, it's gonna be clipped out and put over there most likely. Because
anytime we learn about some perilous orgy that was in Star Wars.
If I can put "Not Safe for Work" in the title, it's gonna do well.
Liz, thank you for the next super chat. If this hasn't been said yet, Michelle Ang isn't Emery Carr. Yep, it's Keisha Kessel Hughes. Also, happy late birthday, Mr. Alex. Thank you, Liz. Yeah, but it is interesting that they have made the choice to give Emery a New Zealand accent.
I feel like they're just messing with us.
I think they are.
They're like, let's throw the YouTubers a bone.
I
Even
think,
though they just gave us the Zilla Beast and the Mythosaur.
Yeah, let's throw them a bone. They don't have anything to talk about. I think it's misdirection. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Oh, I like this idea, Brian. Brian Ferreira has the next super chat. Any chance of a Things I Love About Star Wars Resistance video if you haven't done one already? I have not. 'Cause the video that inspired that, the first one I ever did was The Rise of Skywalker. Specifically because I was kind of struggling with that film at the time, but I did like a lot about it, and I didn't want a couple of things to bring my joy down. So I was like, I'm going to watch this movie and just write down everything that really makes me smile.
Well, also, it seems kind of like we try to be not overly positive, but we try to just be positive, and a lot of channels are like, here's everything I hated about this
Right.
thing. So why not do the opposite?
Oh
of
yeah,
that?
I'm a much bigger fan of Cinema Wins than Cinema Sins, and by that I mean I do not like Cinema Sins at all.
I haven't watched either, but
Good for you.
I'm probably not going to watch the negative one.
Well, most of their complaints and criticisms are very dumb.
And they know that because they know
Oh, yeah,
they're
they
going to
know.
get clicks either way.
Yeah, they know. They want to put as many. Whatever. I don't want to go on a rant about that. But yeah, my goal is to do that for everything I can. My next Everything I Love video is, well, obviously I'm working on one for Bad Batch and Mando. I guess those are going to come out first. But the other one I'm working on is Return of the Jedi for its 40th anniversary.
Did you already did Mando season 1 and 2?
Yep. I just did those
Okay.
to get ready for season 3. And I've done Boba Fett, Obi-Wan. Think I've done all the live action shows now. Going through all of the Clone Wars will be a doozy.
Oh God.
But I'll probably try to do that over a long period of time. But yeah, Resistance would be on that list.
Yeah. That is a good one.
Lord Hosk, I love movies with Mikey and Filmjoy. Filmjoy is another great channel. They do a series. I don't think they've done it in a while. I can't remember what they call it. But they specifically pick out movies that have been... like, just the general public seems to agree that this is not a good movie. And they watch it and they try to celebrate what is good about it.
You should do Howard the Duck.
God, I don't know.
Oh, that's going too far.
Yeah, for me, I just never want to see that movie again. Ice cream's probably here. Or Hilo's barking at something.
I didn't get a ring message, but
Well,
I'll go check.
I'm in the driver's seat now. So.
I'm the captain now.
Thank you, Lord Husk. The series is called Deep Dive. Yeah. Very fun. In Sharpie, I would absolutely break up Clone Wars by season. I'm not going to do a 5-hour-long video about everything I love about the Clone Wars. And I would do the same for Resistance as well, I think. Season 1, Season 2. It's just easier that way. But Darth Nicholas, thank you for the next super chat. Before Attack of the Clones, I was super young when it came out. I'm told the clones were imagined to be the enemies of the Jedi for the entirety of the war, or were perhaps used by both sides. How did you envision the Clone Wars before Attack of the Clones? Like that. Because, let's see, I first watched Star Wars in 1995. So that's when I first heard of the Clone Wars and A New Hope. I started reading Star Wars books in 96 with Shadows of the Empire. And after that, I started to read them chronologically. So it took me a minute. My friend and I basically had a book club. We rode the bus together. And so we lived in the same neighborhood too, but when we would part ways at the end of a school day, we'd be like, all right, let's read the next 50 pages of this Star Wars book. So we read quite a bit of them together, but Heir to the Empire is obviously when I remember. Dark Force Rising, Last Command. That's kind of what set up what the Clone Wars might have been back then. And I think that's where it established that the clones were the enemies of the Jedi. It's weird, though. When Attack of the Clones came out, maybe I was just ready for that retcon, that change. I don't remember having any reaction to it, but I do remember being like, this is not Boba Fett's history. Boba Fett was a man named Jaster Muriel, and he wasn't a clone. And like learning about Boba Fett's real history, quote unquote, in the movie was a much bigger deal for me, a much bigger mental adjustment. But I don't really think I thought about the Clone Wars that much. Yay! Our ice cream's here.
I was gonna bring the actual ice cream, but
put that in the freezer. You keep it safe.
Yeah. That was a lot of ice cream. But this is what we got. If anyone watches Ted Lasso,
Molly got me the ice cream for my birthday.
I got a lot of it. There's 3 tubs of it down there.
Tubs?
Well, pints.
Okay.
Hi, buddy. I know. What was that all about? And then I got 3 other pints.
Andrew711 has the next super chat. Thank you. I think this one's from Molly. They ask, you'd think Din would have stopped at a baby gap. I think talking about the sack that he wears.
If only they had baby gaps in Star Wars. You know, that feels like something that is in the works on a place like Navarro. Everything is up and coming there. They're going to have a baby gap door.
There's a Starbucks somewhere on that corner. Baby Gap is next.
Ooh, what's the Star Wars version of Starbucks?
All we really know about is calf. I don't think I think there was a Death Star management game, like a mobile game that had a bunch of different shops on it. There actually might be a Star Wars coffee shop.
Actually, a good name for a Starbucks in Star Wars would be Hypercaf.
I like that.
Hyperspace, and then caffeine makes you hyper.
I just like the name.
Hyper.
Jabba the Hutt.
Oh,
Wait.
that's
in
Lucasfilm.
That's in Lucasfilm. Okay.
That is a real place that we could visit one day.
Darth Nicholas, thank you for another super chat. I'm so glad they brought back Keisha Castle-Hughes to Star Wars 18 years later after oh my gosh, I didn't know this. After appearing as Queen Apalana at Padme's funeral.
I knew I recognized that name.
That's cool.
Holy crap.
And do you think the scientist character is another female Django clone? Maybe. But Darth Nicholas just crushing me with the trivia today.
As soon as
I had no idea that was the case.
As soon as I read that name out loud, I was like, I've said that name before. At
Yeah,
least
we've
written
studied
it
that name
before somewhere. That's crazy.
I love that. I'm happy for her too. Alexander Kent, thank you for the next one. Used to think Crosshair was simple until someone brought to my attention he is a hurt locker. The anxiety of not being part of a mission is hard. I don't know much about military lingo, jargon. Yeah, I've seen the hurt locker. I don't remember much about it. But yeah, that's what I think he's going through is just, I need to be told what to do. I'm a soldier. That's all I know. I'm afraid to do anything else.
We saw that in, what was this, 79, the Clone Bar on Coruscant, in the episodes with Chuchi. Like, she goes to the Clone Bar, and like, a lot of them are kind of angry, as they should be, and upset, and saying things like, all I know how to be is a clone trooper and a soldier. Like, that's what we were made for. What are we supposed to do now? So it's not just him, but yeah, Crosshair is definitely sticking to the narrative for a lot longer and for the wrong reasons. But I think he's learning that now.
I think he has the quote benefit of thinking he's special, which he is. He is an enhanced clone, so I think he thinks he's not in danger of being left behind.
Or being phased out, yeah, because he's a really good shot.
WebFox100, thank you for the next super chat. Do you think that Commando Delta Squad will fight the Bad Batch in the future? Hard for me to pick which to root for. Well, we got Scorch back, so...
How many times have we answered this question?
I mean, a lot. But before I think we even knew Scorch was going to be in the show.
That's true, yeah.
Before season 1. Because I think it's just an interesting matchup. But it's kind of the same thing of when Rex came back in Star Wars Rebels, people were like, he's got to fight Cody.
Yeah.
But we know Scorch is an antagonist right now, so maybe. And it would be a fun match.
Yeah. If they keep showing Scorch, then I feel like it's definitely a possibility.
It's interesting that there aren't any other members of Delta Squad, though. Like, why are they only showing Scorch?
Because they don't want to make the models.
It's just a color swap at this point.
Oh, I thought maybe they looked different.
Not, I mean, kind of in the game, but in the Clone Wars, it was just they had a little extra color to them.
A little pizzazz.
Mm-hmm.
A little razzmatazz.
Yeah, Scorch has yellow. I forget who all's who. One's green, one's red.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, kinda. Darth Nicholas has the next two here. So, first one, do you agree with the criticism that the technology of the Old Republic and even Dawn of the Jedi era in general looks too modern to be ancient and is too close to the aesthetics of the prequel trilogy? Many think Tales of the Jedi's tech looks older than KOTOR's. Yeah, I think that in Legends, the technology was just all over the place.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they didn't have anyone in charge of keeping an eye on the continuity for...
They kind of did.
Who?
Not the story group, but Leland Chi was still keeper of the holocron. Not that he was saying you can or can't do X, Y, or Z, but I just think there was less consistency back then. And also, canon has the advantage of not going really to the Old Republic yet. We've gone a couple hundred years into the past, and already they have changed technology fairly significantly.
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff in the High Republic. The vectors and how they work.
Well, also the way they're exploring the Outer Rim in Phase 2 is very like slow moving, and hyperdrives are there, but it's more the fact that the galaxy hasn't been safely explored yet, so they have to be careful about it.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. But yeah, I guess that's not really a technology difference so much as it is a safety issue, an exploration issue.
Yeah. I guess back then, like, they didn't know something so terrible would happen if you mix up hyperspace lanes, because it had never happened before. I don't know.
Well, it's supposed to be, like impossible.
Yeah.
But then the Nile found a way to mess with that. So I guess, like, I don't know that I would call it a criticism at this point. It's something that I laugh about, that, yeah, Star Wars throughout the ages is always pretty much the same. But I don't know how you tell a Star Wars story, like a big Star Wars story, without hyperspace. Like, that was George's thing, is he did not care about how it worked. He didn't have any interest in explaining it. Mm-hmm. He just wanted there to be a lot of planets in A New Hope.
Yeah,
so he's like, we have to be able to travel at light speed. The end.
The whole thing starts with a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. So we have to, like, make things super different to make it seem like that's the case.
But yeah, I just don't think anyone's going to care about tech that way in Star Wars. I think they'll try to... I hope they make an effort to make it look a little different, but I kind of think hyperspace is always going to be there.
Yeah. Not Tech the person.
No, not Tech the person. And the next one is Wilro Hood's extra still alive? If so, he needs to apply for celebration ASAP. Start going to conventions and charging $100 minimum to sign Wilro Hood memorabilia. Give the man some ice cream while you're at it. No one knows. As far as I can tell, no one knows who played Wilro Hood. And you'd think that person would say something. Like,
I would not be as shocked if he were in A New Hope, but because he was in Empire, I'm actually shocked that there's no record of him. He was a ghost.
It's kind of like the stormtrooper that hit his head, and our friend Jamie Stengroom did a fun little documentary about who it was, because I think three different people claim it was them. But no one has claimed to be Wilro Hood. That's shocking to me. Because you would get everyone that does the running of the hoods. Like, they would all go and say hello.
Oh, yeah.
They would celebrate him.
That'd be so cute.
Yeah, it'd be really nice. I agree. I wish we knew.
There are going to be a lot of cool actors like that, like little side actors that have become fan favorites at that Cantina party that we tweeted about, which we'll be at if you're going to London Celebration Sunday night at the the Indigo.
The Indigo, yeah.
The Indigo at the O2 Sunday night. I think it starts at 9 p.m., but check out...
It starts at 7.
Oh, it starts at 7.
Yeah, doors open at 6:30, starts at 7.
Okay. Go to our Twitter if you're going to Celebration and you're interested in going to this, because you, when did you tweet that? 2 days ago? Monday. We tweeted about Garrick Hagon being there, the man who played Biggs. And there's a link to the website to get tickets. It sounds like it's going to be a massive amount of fun.
There's going to be a concert.
They did it at the last London Celebration and sounded like it was amazing, and they wanted to do it even bigger this time. So yeah, there's a bunch of people there. There's who played Max Rebo, Biggs.
Julian Glover will be there.
General Veers.
Kenneth Cawley, who played Admiral Piet.
Yeah. Lots more people that we are not remembering, but it looks like a really good time.
Yeah, I'm excited. And I was very honored that they specifically reached out to us and they were like, would you like to announce that Biggs is going to be at this thing? And I was like, I would like to do that.
And I mean, the fact that they invited us at all, because that's just cool.
And David McKay, I am really bummed that it's at the same time as... If you're not going to go to that and you're going to Celebration, go see Ken and Joseph do stand-up.
Well, they're sold out.
Oh, yeah, but they sold out, so you can't. Never mind. But good, great for them. So glad that happened.
They said they might try to sell some more standing room tickets, but I don't know if that's the case. But yeah, they did sell out of those, which, yeah, good for them.
Yeah. So Ken and Joseph are doing a stand-up show, but if you didn't get tickets already, you might not be able to go. But I really wanted to see them do stand-up. We need to just make them tell us jokes.
Maybe they'll tape it, or like someone will record it.
That's true.
And we'll be able to watch it.
Brian Ferreira, thank you for another super chat. Thanks for being open to reading my Hamilton trilogy. Truly grateful, and I hope you find it entertaining. A belated happy birthday to Alex. I guess the binder was my gift. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you, yeah.
I just, honestly, it's finding time, and also, we do Star Wars all day every day, and so right now my way to unwind is to play Hades, because I'm super late to that party, but what a great game. But I just want to try to escape hell. That's what you do in the game. That's what I mean.
Mine is watching Drag Race, which I just started last year. No, I think I just started it this year. I can't remember when I started it. I think it was last year. Anyways, I love it. I love it so much. I'm on season 8 of Drag Race, and it's my favorite thing ever.
Darth Nicholas has another 2 super chats. Thank you. Looking back, I almost think having a Venator instead of an Imperial Star Destroyer on Jakku at the start of The Force Awakens would have been a better and nice way of acknowledging the prequel era, which I feel The Force Awakens sort of pretended didn't exist. As a follow-up... Oh, wait. Let me read this one first. As a follow-up to one of my last super chats, do you prefer Willow Hood's Legends or canon backstory?
I don't know his Legends story.
I like his canon one. It was a little more exciting. The Legends one seemed a little basic in just they were...
Yeah, basic.
It was just, you know what? He was hero of the rebellion, and the ice cream maker was a computer core he was trying to destroy. I kind of like that in canon they made him a bit of an anti-hero. And now that we know that is not a computer core, it's a Camptono, basically a really inconvenient briefcase. So that thing is holding something, and he was trying to deliver it to Batu, but then there's someone else who's competing with him for it, and It was a really fun little story. But we never find out what's in the Cam to Know. It's kind of Pulp Fiction that way, where it's like something important's in that, but we're not going to tell you what. So, yeah, I think I prefer the canon one.
Sorry, I was having my mind blown by the way this piece goes on.
It's a great looking duck. You're doing wonderful.
So cute.
But for the Venator, I think I agree with you. I think that The Force Awakens specifically just seemed really... I really like that movie.
How did it pretend that the prequels didn't exist?
It just didn't acknowledge them at all.
How,
and I feel like...
How should it have, though?
I don't know. And I'm not even going to throw that all at The Force Awakens' feet. I think that's a whole sequel trilogy thing. I think that there was maybe a mandate to pretend they didn't exist. I think that for the early years, I think Disney didn't understand that there was a lot of love for the prequels. I think they were afraid of the prequels. Mm-hmm. And that very first behind the scenes thing that JJ put out, and it was like real sets, practical effects, and they were very hard going in the opposite direction of the way the prequels were.
Yeah.
Which I liked that.
They had to stay for the reboot of Star Wars, for The Force Awakens. It's very obvious that they stayed very safe.
Yes.
With the story, with everything.
Yes.
So going into the prequels in, was that 2015? Would not have been safe.
I think it actually would have been, but they just didn't understand that.
I think it needed a couple more years to really take off.
Yeah, I guess it would have been 10 years since Revenge of the Sith. I think that's enough, even if someone were...
Still, with just the big kickoff of the new Disney era, I get it. I get why they were like, we probably shouldn't go
I understand their decision. I understand their hesitance. But I really enjoy that The Mandalorian is embracing all eras of Star Wars. Mm-hmm. We've got pit droids. We know those battle droids are coming up. We've got an N1 starfighter as like the main ship of the main character. And even Jon Favreau admitted, he was like, I wasn't crazy about the prequels, but Dave has really been working on me. And Dave is pushing to like, no, we have to make this for Star Wars fans of any generation, whether it's OT, PT, Clone Wars, ST. And I like that. And I wish the sequel trilogy embraced things a little more. And the best thing we got was Luke Skywalker saying the words Darth Sidious. Yeah, they could have gone further.
I like whenever, I think Ken Knapsack brings this up a lot on Force Center about the fact that in Chicago, Dave Filoni was on stage. Jon Favreau was on stage talking about how Dave Filoni was trying to get him into the prequels, and he was kind of like, eh. And now so much of Mando is prequel related. Like, we got Boonta Eve, we got Tatooine, we got an N1.
Yeah.
And it's just nuts. And I think that's just Jon Favreau being a smart businessman who's like, I know what works now.
And I'm hoping that he also is learning to like them.
Hopefully.
If he didn't at first, maybe he's finding new appreciation.
Or he just likes money. Which either one works for us.
It's working. I mean, I'm enjoying The Mandalorian, so.
It's working.
Crash Punk, thank you for the next super chat. Love Crosshair's arc this season. Him shooting Nolan was oh so satisfying. Curious to see where it goes. I can see him dying to save the batch. We kind of talked about that earlier. Yeah. I hope he doesn't die. I hope he saves the batch and gets to stay with them.
And it does feel a little weird to be rooting for someone to be shot in an animated Star Wars TV show, but you know, they made him out to be just the worst. So it made you not feel so bad for being okay with Crosshair shooting him at the end there.
Speaking of Crosshair's redemption, Ice has the next one that says, I have mixed feelings because the Crosshair stuff is not resonating with me. I don't buy him having a change of heart or being redeemed.
I mean,
I don't think we're there yet.
I was team no redemption at the end of season 1. I agree. I think we're seeing just the very, very start of a possible change of heart. He could have just been pissed off that he spent all that time bringing Mayday back and then he died, and then Lieutenant so-and-so is there just being a jerk, and so he took him out. I
don't think he was just mad that Mayday didn't get help. I mean, he was, but I think he truly cared for Mayday.
I do too, but like, I get what Ice is saying, and like, if you were to shift your perspective into someone who, like them, doesn't believe the change of heart yet, it could work either way.
Well, I don't think that he has redeemed himself yet. I think this is the first step of just him realizing, like, oh wait, this has an expiration date on it.
Yeah.
And I am not going to be a soldier forever. And the Empire actually hates us.
Mm-hmm. It's a step in the right direction. But yeah, we haven't seen anything yet from him that is truly like, yes, he's looking to be completely redeemed for everything he's done.
Yeah. And I sent in another one that says, I totally get him killing Nolan. That was super satisfying, and one of the few times I've applauded Crosshair. I just can't see him being a good guy. I don't think he's a good guy yet, all of a sudden. I just think that there's hope. There's still hope for him.
A new hope?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Good job. Scotty Heron, thank you for the next super chat. Really enjoyed the stream today, hopping off to hang out with my housemate a bit, but we'll probably be back. I like to craft in my downtime, and y'all are awesome to listen to as I do that. Oh, and hi, Ice. Scotty says hi, Ice.
I mean, this counts as crafting.
I think so.
Because we're making something.
Yeah, it's meditative.
Let's all craft together. I'm almost done with my duck.
Kryptonian has the next one. It says, is it a bad thing to be addicted to Molly? But spelled it like you.
Oh. You get tired of me after a while.
and then a fist bump, and a laughing emoji.
That is fair. But I don't know. You're the best person to ask that question, to answer that question.
I don't think it's bad to be addicted to Molly. Someone's gonna clip that.
Star Wars Explained supports
approves of Molly
drug use.
I didn't say that. Lord Hosk, thank you for the next super chat. Are good soldiers keeping you from something? We are getting close to that time where we got to go eat so we can go to another show.
Yeah, I'm starting to lose my voice.
That
might be the wine, though.
I'll remind people at 9 p.m., so in an hour and 14 minutes, we're going to be on Havoc Marauder podcast talking about The Mandalorian yesterday.
Yes.
Yesterday's episode of The Mandalorian. We're not going to time travel. The way I said that was confusing.
We're going back to yesterday.
Donnie Darklighter, I love that name, first of all. Thank you for the next super chat. Any working theories on what will happen with Crosshair? Sorry if you said already. Real quick, just so I will also address Ian Larkin. Thank you for your super chat. Will Crosshair be the first Phase Zero Dark Trooper?
So we talked a little bit about that theory at the top of the show, and you love that theory. I think it's plausible because we had that assassin guy show up who had his ID numbers completely wiped, and the Bad Batch had never seen that before, so that was weird. So yeah, they could be trying to make him into another assassin who could potentially become whatever the human version of the Dark Trooper is.
That's my primary theory, is that they will make him one of those assassins. Otherwise, I don't know why they showed us that. So
yeah,
I think that's their goal. Whether or not they call it a Phase Zero Dark Trooper or a Phase Zero Death Trooper or if it's a combination of the two, and Death Troopers are the precursors to Dark Troopers, I don't know. But I think they're going to try to make him one of those assassin people.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be that they showed that to us to show that they're taking clones and experimenting on them and wiping them to be assassins. It doesn't necessarily mean that's where Crosshair's headed, but yeah, it's a pretty solid connection.
Oh, I don't think that's where Crosshair's head is. Although, like...
Headed.
Headed. I kind of like the idea that they would present him that choice, because if they were like, we can alter you, and you'll be a soldier forever.
Ugh.
Like, that's what he wants.
Yeah.
But then I hope he has learned enough to reject it.
Yeah.
Jane Dalton, thank you for the next super chat. Also,
Hi, Jane.
someone asked a similar question that you did last night, and we took it for the Q&A about Satine embarrassing her father. Did she take the creed or not? So we talk about that in the Q&A again.
Jane, I wanted to show you
and
this.
I bring that up, but
I'm pretty sure Jane watches Ted Lasso, but we got a bunch of Ted Lasso ice cream delivered to us today, which I'm excited to have at some point.
But Jane, I still love that idea about Satine. But Jane's question is trivia that I don't know the answer to. How many characters have lost a body part in a film? P.S. Road tripping, and these streams are great for passing the hours as I drive. Thanks.
Nice. Okay, so
Oh my god.
I think we tried to count this for trivia once, but I kept missing.
In a film, okay.
Lots.
I do think we've counted this before.
Ponda Baba.
Uh-huh.
3PO.
Yep.
Several times.
Yeah. I will count him once.
Okay. Luke.
Yep. The Wampa.
Wampa. Vader.
Yep.
Oh wait, I'm going. Well.
You jumped to Return of the Jedi. I think that's right, though.
Yeah.
5 there. Wait, are we counting droids? Because, like, B1 battle droids get dismembered constantly.
Okay, no droids except for 3PO.
Counts because he is a named character, a main character. We're not going to count every B1 battle droid that gets dismembered or...
Right. Okay, so is that it from Return of the Jedi?
Probably not. But maybe. I think it is.
I'm pretty sure it is.
We go to Phantom Menace. Maul should count.
Maul definitely
He loses
counts.
2 limbs. I think that's it. Zam Wessel in Attack of the Clones. Anakin.
Qui-Gon just gets stabbed,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. Sam Wessel, Anakin,
I think we're good there.
Dooku.
Mace Windu.
Mace.
Anakin again. That's just the same person. That shouldn't count. Oh wait, but Anakin and Darth Vader are the same person. So
Yeah.
we'll take that away.
We'll subtract one.
Sequel trilogy. I don't think anyone loses anything.
That can't be right. Snoke loses half of his body.
I guess that counts. I mean, that we said that counts for Maul.
Yeah. Gotta be missing at least one. And no, droids don't count.
Oh, Cameron Stewart says Jango does lose a hand. That's true. But it's right before his head gets cut off.
And his head.
Is a head a limb?
Yeah.
It's a limb?
Count Dooku.
No, he gets his hands cut off.
Oh.
But that's he gets his hands cut off right before. Okay, so Jango Fett should count too. Samuel Rogers says Grievous. Grievous is an interesting one though, because he gets those back easy. Like
He doesn't have any real limbs
Yeah.
to be
I
severed.
don't. But neither does 3PO.
Well, I only count 3PO because
we should count
the
Grievous.
frickin' Schmodown counted him.
If we're counting 3PO, we should count Grievous.
All right.
Because 3PO gets rebuilt. All of these rules. See, this is why Star Wars trivia is a nightmare. If someone asks you, how many planets appear in X film? And you're like, well, do you mean planets or moons? Because technically, Jedda's a moon. And they'll be like, what are you talking about, nerd? That's how it all goes.
That literally happened to one of our friends.
Yep. Star Wars trivia trauma. I don't know. Jane, the answer is we don't know. I think we counted like 9. And there's surely more.
I think that sounds pretty good. Hopefully we're not missing any of the major ones, but, you know.
Our next one is just from Alexander. Great name, great comment. So I just want to see my boy Chrysanthemum again.
Hell yeah.
That was one of my favorite little moments of 2022.
Little Santy
Yeah.
action.
Just seeing Chrysanthemum in live action be like, oh my gosh. It was a mini version of Cobb Vanth to me.
I really liked him and like I forget the actor's name who was in the suit.
Casey Jones?
Yeah. Just the eyes.
Carrie Jones? Casey Jones is from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
The eyes alone kind of worked at conveying everything, and all of Black Chrysanthemum's stuff with Garsa Fwip was adorable, and it made sense. I don't know. I really liked it. And that one shot of him running away frantically was hilarious. It wasn't meant to be, but it was
funny.
And
there were some direction choices in that show that I was like, okay.
The scene where he breaks into Boba Fett's palace.
It was good.
Formerly known as Jabba's palace. That's its official title. Was so cool. Like, there was some really cool choreography moments in that one.
Yeah, I liked having Chrysanthemum a lot. Maxim Bortonowski, thank you for the next super chat. I just noticed that Pedro was saved by his child twice this week. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Good old Pedro and his various children.
His various adopted children. Legacy Productions, thank you for sending 2 super chats that says, both say, Kyle did make the clone army quip. I don't know what that means.
Clone army quip. Who's
Kyle Katarn? Either the character or the YouTuber? I don't know. Kyle did make the clone army quip. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what that means, but I'll try to keep an eye out in chat.
I did it! I made the wooden duck. It's cute.
Oh, Kylo. Kyle made. Oh, that's very cute. I see. People saying that Kylo Ren mentioned maybe Supreme Leader Snoke should consider a clone army, which is kind of a reference to.
No, that counts.
I don't know. It seemed like doing the bare minimum.
The words clone army, that counts.
Perhaps Supreme Leader Snoke should consider using a clone army. It's like.
It is the bare minimum, but it counts.
It's bare minimum. Okay, but yeah, that's funny. Just Kyle. It came across as Kyle. And I hope, Legacy, I hope you didn't send in 2 because you were trying to correct the spelling. And they both say Kyle. Tin Man, thank you for the next one. Crosshair risked his life to save a reg. And then it's like a shocked face emoji kind of thing.
Oh, it's true.
It's true.
And
Mayday was too lovable.
He'd only known that reg for not a lot of time. So imagine what he might do to save the Bad Batch at this point.
That's true. Hopefully. You can be better, Crosshair. I believe in you. Shaq Fu has the next one. Thank you, Shaq Fu. What is your least favorite opening crawl? I know my answer.
What's your answer?
The Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
I do really like the dead speak, and like that's a fun pulpy line, but I don't think I've ever been scared by a crawl before. Like as a kid, I know a lot of people who grew up with the original trilogy, when they went to see the prequels and they read the crawl and they were like, what is this talking about? Did not, like, I was 12 years old, didn't care. I was like, taxation of trade routes, what? Whoa, scary. Like I was fully in. But
I TLDR'd the crawls for the most part growing up. I was like, I don't, what are all these words in my
just
face?
skimming it, yeah.
But yeah, the Rise of Skywalker crawl has so many name drops, and just from a story point of view, made me angry because they just used the crawl to explain that Palpatine is back. Plus,
that was what really bugged me.
Plus, that one line of like, somehow he returned, which might as well have been in the crawl.
Yeah. The dead speak. Like, again, the dead speak is a fun sentence. I like it.
It's not that different from war.
I like war too. Yeah,
And
I like
how,
war too.
How that started out the Revenge of the Sith crawl.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh.
Okay. I do agree. Samuel Rogers said that The Last Jedi crawl just feels kind of unnecessary. Because it's like, yeah, we know.
Because the movie's so good? No, I'm kidding.
No, because we know. We just watched The Force Awakens, and it's just picking up right after that. So
they don't always pick up right after the last one left off. So
I know, but The Last Jedi does.
Yeah.
That's the point.
But they can't not do a crawl.
I know. So it's just kind of a lose-lose situation. Also, an annoying trivia thing about The Rise of Skywalker is how many capitalized
It's
words.
like 11
It's
or 12.
too many.
It's 11 or 12.
JJ, tone it down. It's most of them have 0 to 3 capitalized words, and it's like Death Star. Remember this. Mm-hmm. It's for people like you who TLDR the crawls.
I'm only reading the ones in all caps. Like,
yeah, you're like,
okay.
Death Star. Got it. Luke Skywalker. He's important. Okay.
Something called a Death Star's coming. That sounds scary.
So much of the Rise of Skywalker crawl is in all caps, and you're like, okay, I can't handle this. Darth Nicholas, thank you for the next super chat. Would you like to see Wolf appear at some point in the Bad Batch, since we saw Gregor 2 years ago in the Bad Batch? Was that 2 years? It was 2 years ago in the Bad Batch. And before that, both of them together in Rebels. Yeah, I've been talking about Wolf, since Gregor appeared. It just seems like he has to show up.
Mm-hmm. At some point, yeah. Or, I don't know, keep it a mystery.
I want to know. I want to know where he is.
They could put his story in from a certain point of view book at some point. That'd be fun.
Gaz, I'm sorry. Feeling lonely being a Tross fan right now. I don't want to like dig down on Tross too much.
We were just talking about the crawl.
Just talking about the crawl, but I love Babu Frick. And I love Colone, the puppet driver of Lando's.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
The driver of Lando's vehicle on Pisana.
Yeah.
I like all of
Pisana's great too. I love the Aki-Aki in that festival.
Yeah, I like all of the new stuff we got, like them and Pisana, and I like all the trivia from that movie. I like the humor a lot. The flashlight moment in the cave is hilarious.
Yeah. I think that JJ does Star Wars humor very well. I thought that about Force Awakens. I thought that about Rise of Skywalker. And I agree with the criticisms of Last Jedi's humor just didn't land for me. What was I going to say? Oh, 3PO. 3PO's great in The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
And gives one of my biggest Star Wars laughs is when he has his memory. Okay, I have criticisms about just like the pathos of that moment of like, I'm taking one last look at my friends, and then that gets erased. But I laugh every time R2's like, I can put your memories back in your head, and he's like, you'll do no such thing.
And we get a hard
the
cut.
hard cut to that happening is very funny.
Yeah.
So I don't want to.
In my opinion, it's one of the funniest Star Wars movies. Empire might take top funny, which is funny.
Also a good 3PO movie.
Yeah. It's funny because it's funny. No, like most people think of Empire as like the best, most well-written, most critically acclaimed Star Wars movie, but it's got original Yoda in it, and he's hilarious.
Original Yoda is the best. As a kid, I thought
angry
he was
old man.
so funny. And still to this day, when he's banging on R2, like, mine, so good. That's a difficult to read name, but Referable Snail X says Claude is the boy.
Claude, yes. Justice for Claude.
Sharpie says Ben saying ouch when he jumped on the chain. Love Ben Solo. I didn't like.
Don't get me started on
I know
him.
that like it's such a like, oh, I love him so much,
Gone
and I'm
too
so
soon.
upset that he got taken from me.
Gone too soon.
I love him. It's great. But let's go do. Lindsey Brown has the next one. I see Ice has a few, so I'm gonna save them. Lindsay says, when I read the description, new friend. Oh, okay. I haven't read the description for the Outpost, but I think that's what this says. When I read the description, new friend. Oh, okay. When I saw it was a Crosshair episode. Oh no. When we met Mayday. Oh no.
No new friend.
Is that what it says? Just Crosshair makes a new friend. I love reading the descriptions, and sometimes I skip doing it because they're so pointless.
Yeah.
But it makes sense.
Mandalorian goes on an adventure.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's... They just have to put something there.
Is it Grogu is cute? Like, okay, thanks. That's always been a... I'm about to date myself and make a dumb joke, but my parents... they loved, and I liked watching Diagnosis Murder with them growing up. It stars Dick Van Dyke, Molly. He's a national treasure. Don't act like you're above Dick Van Dyke. But every episode, he solves a murder.
Dick Van Dyke does?
Yeah.
What channel was this on?
I don't remember.
What TV were you watching?
It was like a mystery show, and he solved murder. He was a doctor, and he would be able to tell that someone was murdered, and they didn't just die of natural causes. Anyway,
feels very out of character for Dick Van Dyke.
I remember looking in the TV guide once and being like, "What's this episode about?" And it says, "Mark suspects murder," and I was like, "I know, I know that TV guide."
Well, one of these days it might say something else, and you'll be like, "Oh my god, it's not about him suspecting murder."
The Outpost. A new friend is made on a harsh and unforgiving outpost planet. Okay, more than I thought.
Well, it's rude of them to call him a new friend when he dies in the very same episode.
Uh-huh. Episode 9, The Crossing. The team tackles a risky mission on a hostile world.
Risky business. I have to pee real bad. So
Okay,
I'll be right.
The Bad Batch plans a risky heist. It's just, yeah, the Bad Batch does something risky. I get it. Ice, I watched so much Murder, She Wrote with my grandmother. Oh, man. Thank you, I'm the Stein. What TV were you watching that you don't know Diagnosis Murder? I'll have to say that to her when she's back. Gio, thank you for the super chat. Just wanted to pop in and say, hey, just saw Scream 6. Molly and I are going with our friend Zach Burkett from the Schmodown. We're going to see Scream 6 tomorrow, and I am excited about it. I love the Scream movies. I'm not a big horror person, but I really like Scream. That's probably my favorite horror franchise. Also, I feel like I'm getting more and more into horror. Molly has encouraged me to do that, and the more I see, the more I get it. Like, I used to really not like slasher films, and then we watched some of the Halloween movies, and I was like, okay, I'm starting to get this. I'm starting to understand it more. But Ice, thank you for 3 super chats here. Talking about Crosshair, I just don't think he's very redeemable because he was a jerk from the start. He was antagonistic to everyone for no reason, insulting Echo's disabilities, etc. I hope they do something more interesting, But to end on a positive note, would you also do everything you like about Rebels? And thoughts on the latest Survivor news about the Mantis's location? I have not seen that. Oh my goodness. The Mantis's landing zone has been moved to a more central location on planets. Okay, I've seen this. To make traveling easier rather than being on the edge like in Fallen Order. Starting with Crosshair, I agree. Like, he was always just kind of a jerk, but so is Raphael in the Ninja Turtles. And that's, I mean, Crosshair is the Raphael of the group, and Hunter is
Are we getting
Leonardo.
back into Saturday morning cartoons?
Yeah. Hunter's Leonardo, Wrecker is Michelangelo, and Tech is Donatello.
Yeah. Smart one, strong one.
Well, Michelangelo wasn't the strong one. He was more like the party dude.
Yeah, the jokester, the simple one.
Sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do think he was always a jerk, but Star Wars is always saying, like, hey, you can be better. And
Yeah.
I think that he can be better. I have to believe that, because I do really like him.
We have to believe.
But yes. Oh, okay. First of all, yes, we will do an everything that we love about Rebels as well when we find the time. That's the hardest part, is just finding time to sit down and like rewatch an entire season of anything anymore.
I was talking about just last night. I was like, I would love to just blow through all of Rebels to catch up on it and all that before Celebration, but I just don't know if I can do that. Partially because there's a lot of time involved in that, and also because I know eventually we're going to rewatch it in order to make content for it. So like doing commentaries and reviews and stuff. So I know as soon as I start the show, I'm going to want to start doing content for it. So it's always a toss-up.
I mean, it would be good to refresh our memories before Ahsoka, but I just don't know if we'll have the time for it.
Yeah.
Thoughts on the latest Survivor news about Mantis's location? It's going to be in a more central spot on planets to make traveling easier. I did read about that. Great. I love that. I mean, I think they're really going for hey, you go to a different planet and it's more open world, more exploratory. Really like that.
I think it's very comforting to know that there will be a hub, quote unquote, that you can leave from and come back to as much as you want, sounds like. So 2 thumbs up for me. Because if I get overwhelmed and I get killed a lot, I'm going to go back to that hub and I'm going to take a nap.
It's a good plan. And they're also doing fast travel. I'm one of the, I think, few people who actually didn't mind the lack of fast travel, but I'm also one of the people that in Spider-Man was like, I'm never going to use the subway. I am swinging all over this city because it's so much fun.
Oh.
So I enjoyed.
Did you use the subway though?
What?
Did you use the subway though?
In Spider-Man?
Spider-Man?
No. I think they make you at one point just to like check that box, and it's like, here's how you use the fast travel system. I'm like, don't want it. Why would I do that? I'm Spider-Man. But it is funny. It does a little cutscene, a loading scene of Spider-Man just sitting on the subway with everyone else.
How does he become friendly neighborhood Spider-Man without meeting the neighborhood on the subway?
It's fair.
Something to think about.
But we should wrap up and go eat something, because we are going to be on another podcast in 49 minutes. We're going to be on Havoc Marauder. It'll be live streamed if you want to hang out over there. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I can't do that.
When we hop off, I'll find the tweet with the link and I'll retweet it from both of our accounts so that you can go to Twitter, you can find the link for that, and you can go hang out with us while we talk Mando.
I was going to see if I could redirect to it, and I can't.
No.
But that's the plan. We'll be there in 49 minutes. The Geo Flores sent in one more super chat. Thank you, Geo. It says, Scream 6 was great. Hope you enjoy. I told him we were going to see it tomorrow.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Tomorrow is Friday.
Yep.
Oh, my gosh. What day is it?
Time's just flying. But thank you all for hanging out with us, talking Bad Batch and everything else, and watching us.
Look what
build
Alex
the ship.
built today. Yeah. What is this?
It's going to go here, I think. It's like the...
Oh, yeah. The start of the...
We don't have an example. What are you doing?
What?
How'd you pick that up? Not like that. Wasn't like that. This is why I don't let you touch things.
It looks fine to me. Look at my duck.
What a neat looking duck.
Doesn't bother me.
It is a nice looking duck. You did a great job.
He's the captain of the ship
Yeah,
now.
we'll put him on there. Thank you all for hanging out with us. Hope to see you over on the Havoc Marauder stream. Yes, Dylan Compton Havoc Marauder is the name of the channel. We'll be there soon. We're going to go take a quick break and eat, and then hop back on them internets. But thank you all so much for hanging out. We'll be back next Wednesday for This Is the Show, and next Thursday for exactly this again.
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. Thank you all for hanging out. May the Force be with you.